So this is going to be about a week into the league or so. I am at the point where I am pretty effectively just full-blown farming. I've been having a really good time farming and just focusing on just trying to get a lot better gear upgrades. Right now, my focus is to farm up a more potent mercenary. I have a very decent mercenary that I got for about 3 divines now, but I just want to go ahead and talk a bit about my setup, right? So the first thing I'm going to start off with is explaining the fact that I am not life stacking. I am aura stacking, so I'm going a different route. And the way I'm making that work is by getting penetration through crystallized omniscience. All of my gear I have self-crafted except the bow. The bow I bought for 6 divines. But my mercenary itself is actually, the base mercenary is like 4 divines. It's not very good. I don't even have return projectiles on this, right? I have 2 dead things on my Val Ice Shot, right? Nothing too crazy. It's pretty decent Merc, but it's not the most insane Merc, right? But just to quickly touch on the actual gear of my mercenary, I am using this bow. It's a pretty decent bow. It's a 1000 E DPS bow with +1 arrows. I could have went for +2, but it would be a little bit awkward to have an uneven amount of arrows, or rather having an odd arrow when you have +3 projectiles. +3 already makes it even, so you want an odd projectile so that it fires a projectile down in the middle. Otherwise, I would have to get like right next to the boss and drop my mercenary there constantly, and it would just be kind of annoying. But I also have dexterity on this, and this is because, again, I'm stacking crystallized omniscience. So with omniscience stacking in my current setup, I have around 1,600 omniscience, which is around 106 penetration or so. So I'm getting pretty large amounts of elemental penetration. I could push this farther. I'm using a taming that's not very strong right now. I think I can take this up to 130 something percent, right? So I can make this better. I didn't, I just haven't yet, or I'm still considering if maybe there's a better ring. Maybe I do a ring that's crafted, a rare ring that has just a bunch of actual attributes. I don't know. I'm probably gonna swap this at some point. I don't know yet. I'm using gifts from above for my critical strike because I changed my weapon setup, which I will explain in a second. I'm still doing crit, but again, I'll explain that in a second. So I have this giving me a good amount of increased critical strike chance. This is also giving me increased damage and constantly getting a whole lot of health being restored in the form of consecrated ground, right? And I have Zealot's Oath, and Zealot's Oath is essentially making it so that I can kind of turn my life regen into energy shield regen, which is very nice. For most bosses, especially dots, dealing with dots makes it pretty easy. I'm currently still using Period of Elements, but I am considering dropping this at some point and finding a different way to get Ignite immune, because the only ailment that I'm really worried about dealing with at this point is just ignites and bleeds. But obviously Period of Elements is really at this point only for ignites, because I already can get freeze immunity and I can get reduced effective shock pretty easily. So probably gonna swap this out, probably try to get one of the Purity of Elements or something like that, but I'm not sure yet, just haven't got there. Anyway though, that's back to my mercenary here. I have this gear. Let's start with the bow. Again, it's pretty good. My quiver is pretty good. It has a lot of flat for all the elements, and then also has crit multi with dexterity. And I have crafted critical strike chance with the frenzy on crit, frenzy charge on crit, giving me a lot of damage, a good amount of attack speed for my mercenary. Obviously, I have my crystallized omniscience. I crafted utmost swiftness. This gives a lot of dexterity and increased dexterity, which again is working as crystallized omniscience instead. Rather, this is giving 40 omniscience and 8% increased omniscience, right? I have this helmet. It basically, I only cared about the suffixes, but I kind of want to remake this at some point, and I'm not sure what I'd get, but I'd remake it anyway. But crafted on +1 socketed projectile gems, not important, but the other thing that is important is projectiles pierce an additional target. That's pretty strong, so I got that. Boots, again, try attributes. I crafted on the movement speed and onslaught on kill just to make it more consistent in case my Spectre dies. I have Falborn Meganord's journal, which is I put to have increased attributes. The important part though is the fact that this is giving me 72 omniscience and 18% increased omniscience. Again, a very large multiplier, very good belt. These gloves I self-crafted. I can probably try and keep crafting them, but it just has some flat 2 attacks. I tried to get fire damage, I didn't get it. It is what it is. I just settled on 2 of the elemental damage types. Got lightning and cold, which is the better ones anyway, so it's fine. Try attributes again, rage gain on hit, and then lightning exposure. The boots also had action speed and gained 5% of physical damage as extra cold damage. Pretty decent. My chest piece has 11% of physical damage taken as cold damage, just makes my mercenary a little bit tankier, and then has crit multiplier for attack. Very decent. Pretty happy with that. I didn't go try attributes on this suffixes this time. I just went for 1 attribute. I wanted to get 6% increased attributes, which works for omniscience, and then has 1 abyssal socket. The abyssal socket is currently being taken up by this jewel. It has a good amount of flat cold. It has 24 attributes on this, basically. Very, very solid. Pretty happy with my gear on this character. This gear, I do not know how much it's worth. It could be worth 10 divines, could be worth like 20, it could be worth like 50. I don't actually know the value of the stuff on this character. All I know is that I self-crafted all this. Not very hard. The bases cost between 50 and 150 chaos to get the fracture, and then I just self-crafted it using just some lucky rolls, to be honest with you. I got lucky on some of these rolls, but I really just spammed this with essences until I got the try attributes that I wanted, right? I spent around 350 chaos trying to roll all of these suffixes. It wasn't too bad, really. It's not the hardest thing, especially with Eldritch Chaos. You can just re-roll prefixes and suffixes until you get what you want. For the most part, not hard. My Mercenary itself, it has a pretty good setup for clear with Chain, GMP, Area of Effect, Fork, and Greater Hypothermia. So not a lot of raw damage. I have Mirror Arrow. It's not doing anything. Val Ice Shot is okay. This one has just Hypothermia, Elemental Damage to attacks. Just some freeze chance is okay. And then GMP doesn't actually do anything for Val Ice Shot because the Mirages actually don't get extra projectiles from this, in case you did not know that. Mirage Archers do not take extra projectiles from anything, so just something to be aware of. Frostbomb and Grace, nothing too crazy. Moving on to my actual gear, I have an Auguire. This is very, very good because it's giving me 14.6 base crit to my Mercenary because I have it linked with Destructive Link. Destructive Link is giving my Mercenary a whole bunch of critical strike chance and multiplier, which is very good. Since I am not using Marilyn's Fallacy anymore, I lost a great deal of critical strike multiplier, but that's okay because I replaced it with a whole lot of penetration instead. This is skyrocketed my damage to a very large level. I think the next step for me at this point is just to farm a return Mercenary on Val Ice Shot and the main skill. It's going to cost between like 50 and 100 divines probably. It's just the price tag of having a great Merc. I can probably already do Uber bosses right now, but having that Merc would be like that next level that just takes it from like great to amazing. Right now on my actual character, right, I'm just running my gem links for just a bunch of auras. I have an Enlightened level 2. I have enough mana for my stuff anyway, so it's not the biggest deal, but eventually I want to swap out some of the stuff. So to start off, I'm going to talk about my actual gear. I have Auguire for my critical strike chance. Just the way I wanted to scale it, I really want to try Omniscience. I'm pretty sure it's going to be really good anyway, so pretty excited about that. I have crafted most of my own gear here. It's just a bunch of gear with energy shield. I don't really care about the suffixes that much, but the suffixes that are nice are the ones that give me just a bunch of stats. So I got pretty lucky getting strength and intelligence. Intelligence gives me increased energy shield. Fire resistance was pretty good. I hit max rolled T1 fire res, but I'm overcapped for my resistances by a very, very large margin. So I'm not pressed about my resistances at all. But again, I really only prioritize getting the energy shield and the attributes. This one is only a 5 mod. I could add a mod to this if I really wanted to. I crafted non-channeling skills have less total mana cost because that just makes it easier to throw up my mines and put out my stuff. Like when I attack with my smite costs 1 mana. I could make it cost no mana if I really wanted to. It also makes it just easier to just cast my Frostblink and other stuff, right? My mana costs are not a big deal to me. Anyway, my other ring, again, just I prioritize getting energy shield. I got Elitesi's defense, which is decent. Again, I prioritized getting attributes, which is good. As far as my chest piece goes, I self-crafted this using the league mechanic, slammed essences on this until I hit a good set of prefixes with the mana reservation efficiency. That's really it. Got in like 5 or 4 attempts, not too hard. Helmet did the same thing for the most part. Again, I really only cared about the prefixes. Got a 426 energy shield helmet. I did not finish rolling my implicits. I should try and finish these implicits. If I do roll these implicits, I probably want a higher mana reservation efficiency and +1 to maximum res of something. I think you can get all res. I don't know. I don't remember off the top of my head. This amulet is a pretty decent rolled increased effect of non-curse aura effect amulets, and then also 10% damage from hits taken from my Ray Spectre's life, making me a little bit tankier. It gives me intelligence, which is good. And then I put on Champion of the Cause. I'm using Martian Legion. Really good for just giving me a bunch of aura effect again. Gives me plus levels, which is really strong for aura stacking, right? This is giving my Wrath 4 extra levels. This is giving my Smite 4 extra levels. It's very good. I have Empower on this as well, so making this a level 26. I can upgrade all this gear at some point. I have the money for it. I just haven't did it because I'm prioritizing getting my best Merc first, because I think the biggest DPS increase I can get is just a really good Merc with return projectiles, so that's what I'm focusing on. Aegis Aurora. I'm running Aegis Aurora with the setup. I'm stacking a whole lot of energy shield, and I am also taking Iron Reflexes. This converts my evasion into dexterity, right? It's making me a hell of a lot tankier. And when I have my flask popped, I have like 41 armor, and like this gives me 87 damage reduction to physical attacks. I can get a lot more armor. I'm not that scaled yet, so I'm just not at that point. I only have 5k ES. I'm not that squishy, but I'm not that tanky either. I can like stand on a bunch of mechanics and not take damage, but I also only have 5k life, so a slam can very easily kill me. I'm gonna be able to like double this with like way better gear and can get like 10k ES with 0 issues. I'm just not prioritizing fixing defenses because typically I don't really need my defenses to be that good. If I was to play this like hardcore, I would obviously focus on getting my defenses and get like 10k ES first and foremost, and just like my damage is already good enough to kill basically everything in the game. I self-crafted these clusters using the league mechanic, which is really good. Just literally spammed chaos until I got something like this, right? This is like one of the better ones I've gotten. I really only want the increased effect at 35% and an increased energy shield at T1, like how this one kind of is, right? This is like one of the best ones. This is not even T1, this is T2, right? So this isn't even like one of the best ones, but essentially I want something that looks kind of like this, right? These other ones are not that good in comparison, right? But basically something that looks like that first one is what I'm trying to get. My goal right now is to get a light of meaning for energy shield. For getting tankier, that's like one of the largest things I can get, and then probably replacing this with like an unnatural instinct just for a boatload of energy shield. Probably what I'm gonna do, or like something over here. One of these things are getting changed out for it. I want to get a rune graft of the fortress. I can buy it right now if I really want to, but like those little small changes right there would just give me like almost 7. I think it would put me at like 9k ES or so, and then I can recraft my actual chest piece. Like I can get like 1,000 ES on this chest piece, and this would propel me up to like 10k. So just it's really easy to get a whole lot more ES. I just haven't done it because that's not my focus. That being said, I am currently running a Watcher's Eye. That's giving me a spell block chance because I am also running Glancing Blows with Divine Shield. Again, I am also using Aegis Aurora, so this is making me a lot tankier to smaller hit. And I also have Grace, gives increased movement speed for some nice quality of life, really. It feels good, so I'm happy with that. And then I also have a Intuitive Leap, and this gives me my Charisma and Reservation Efficiency right there. Pretty much that as far as my actual tree goes. Pretty like spread out, but it's mostly because the clusters are just really OP on Scion. I changed this part to have legendary arms and legendary ring. This was the last thing I've completely spec'd out of Golden Glory and this part right here, because these just aren't affecting me in this build version that I'm running in a way that's like profound, the same way the Flame Link does. I think Flame Link scaling is just reliant on this to basically work. I'm not, so I get to do this with belts and get a bunch of increased damage. Right, so that's kind of why my Merc actually has all of these right here, because this is just more damage for my Mercenary. I might change this because, frankly speaking, I kind of just have to have large flats amount of damage on my bow and my quiver, so I can't really use that well, but whatever, it is what it is. But that's basically it as far as my tree goes. Still using Senshiro Benevolence for Flask. I probably want to get a Mage Blood just to be a lot tankier and move a lot faster for just quality of life reasons. But like if I were to rarity farm, I'd probably just pull out the Censure Benevolence once again and just throw on a gold flask and a bunch of movement speed stuff and just run around and farm. I don't know. As far as my gem setup goes, I have Vitality, Destructive Link, Clarity right here. My Clarity is level 1 because I don't need this leveled. I'm using Val Clarity mostly, right? I can use the Clarity if I really want to, but this is mostly just for the Val Clarity, right? And it's because I am using Divine Blessing with Wrath. This gives a bunch of good stuff for my Wrath, right? It makes my Wrath really strong. So if I use Val Clarity, it makes it cost no mana for 10 seconds. So I just have 10 seconds of a large DPS boost. I don't know if I'm going to keep this setup like this. This might be changed at some point just for a more consistent aura that just gives damage, but don't know yet. I haven't tried it. I haven't figured out exactly what I'm doing with that just yet. I'm using Precision, Generosity, Anger. I have Frostblink up here. I could probably change this for something else, maybe like Flame Dash. I don't know, but I just haven't. I don't want to. I like the Frostblink, it feels good, so I'm just going to keep using it. Of auras here in my chest piece with Determination, Grace. I have an Enlighten that's level 2, and that's almost level 4. This will give me a bunch of Reservation back, probably let me change some stuff out. Again, I have Discipline right here, Haste, and Purity of Elements. Again, might want to change this out at some point, not sure yet. I have Assassin's Mark, Minefield, Stormblast. This gives me a bunch of damage. This gives my Merc a bunch of Critical Strike multi and Critical Strike chance. Plus, it also gives power charges, which gives a whole bunch of Critical Strike to my Mercenary. I don't think I have 100% Critical Strike chance without the power charges on my Mercenary, but with this setup, this is 14.6 critical base, right? If I Assassin's Mark, that turns to like 15.6 critical strike chance base. I'm probably pretty close to getting like 70 and 100%, especially considering the fact that I'm not even using Brittle Boots on my AG. Anyway, as far as that goes, my AG is currently set up right now. It's not too crazy, but it just has a Dying Breath, Lyric Cast, Legacy of Fury, and a curse enemies with elemental hit Vixen's Entrapment, which allows it to curse the target even though I put my curse on it. I have Garber the Ephemeral. This makes me feel so much tankier because not only does it make my action speed not go below base value, but then also nearby enemies cannot do critical strikes is really, really nice. If you can get crit immunity right now, it feels really good. That's just something to keep in mind. This guy is not very incredible though. I'm using the Perfect Spirit of Fortune Spectre and the Perfect Forest Warrior Spectre just for onslaught, and this gives lucky lightning damage hits, which is really good for my Mercenary because I have a lot of lightning damage given to my Mercenary. And then also I am getting the Wrath Aura. It doesn't really matter to have this Wrath Aura because mine is usually better. Anyway, that's about as far as that goes for my character itself. My character has been feeling really, really good so far. Probably going to keep trying to just min-max this and push it even further. I can definitely make this character giga tanky, have insane amounts of damage, but I'm just not there yet because I just haven't really been able to play as much. I've kind of just been farming T17, or rather I've been farming Nightmare maps, and it's been pretty consistent. That's really all I care about right now, consistency. It doesn't have to be that good. Harvest, I've heard, is pretty decent. Legion is probably decent. The League mechanic is pretty good, right? I haven't really done the League mechanic much because Mercenaries weren't really working with Golden Lanterns, but now that they are, I would like to retry it and give it a really good go, and maybe I'll see some better loot drops there, but whatever. Maybe I'll try it, maybe I won't. Anyway, thank you for watching. You have a great rest of your day. Bye.